Hi everyone, this is Joe Greenwald reading Tommy Greenwald's Hooked. This is based on a fishing experience that me and my dad shared in middle school about 10 to 15 years ago. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy. And here's a nice little quarantine read. Hooked. Joe loved fishing, even though nothing much happened. He would wait, he would look at the water, he would look at the sky, he would wait some more, and he would dream about catching the big one. Joe's dad thought fishing was boring. I like more action, he said, and I don't like worms. He just didn't get it. So Joe joined the town fishing club. They fished in streams, ponds, rivers, and brooks. One time, they even fished in a puddle. As Joe grew to love fishing even more, he asked his dad to give it a chance. "You should try it," Joe said. "No, thank you," his dad answered. Then one winter day, the leader of Joe's fishing club announced that they were going ice fishing on a frozen lake. Everyone cheered. "On this trip, each child must be accompanied by a parent or guardian," the club leader said. Uh-oh, thought Joe. That night at dinner, Joe asked his dad if he would take him ice fishing. His dad thought for a minute. "I'll go on one condition," he said. "What's that?" Joe asked. Joe's dad smiled. That I have to never do it again." The next Saturday, they woke up very early and drove to the lake. It was bright and beautiful and 12 degrees. Joe smiled at his dad. His dad tried to smile back. First, they carved a round hole in the ice. Then they dropped in their lines. Nothing much happened. They waited. They looked at the ice. They looked at the sky. They waited some more. Then Joe and his dad started to talk. They talked about everything: baseball, movies, music, food, school, animals, and a bunch of other stuff. They told jokes. They drank hot chocolate, but they didn't catch anything. When the sun began to go down, they stopped talking. Joe's dad started shivering, and Joe started worrying. He worried that maybe it wasn't a good idea to bring his dad fishing after all. He worried that his dad might hate fishing now more than ever. Then, just before it was time to go, Joe felt a tug on his line. He jumped up. "I got a bite!" Joe yelled. Joe's dad tried to jump up too, but he slipped and he fell. The fish pulled back hard. It felt big and strong. Finally, after one last tug, Joe reeled it in. At first, Joe couldn't tell what kind of fish it was. Then he realized it wasn't a fish at all. It was something large, soggy, and pink. It was a stuffed elephant. Everyone started laughing. Joe's ears burned with embarrassment. He started to throw the elephant back in the lake. "Don't," said his dad. "But it's a stupid stuffed elephant," Joe said. His dad looked at him. "You caught her," he said, "and we're keeping her." On the way home, Joe and his dad talked about the freezing cold and drinking hot chocolate and getting a tug on the line and Joe's dad falling on his fanny and Joe catching the stuffed elephant. They laughed the whole way. When they got home, Joe's dad put the elephant in the washer and dryer. It came out warm and fluffy. "She's adorable," Joe's dad said. "Let's name her Ella." A few weeks later, when it was time for Joe's first fishing trip of the spring, his dad knocked on his door. "Can I come with you?" he asked. Joe and his dad caught only one fish that day, a little striper they threw back, but that didn't matter. They talked and laughed and had a great time. The next time Joe went fishing, his dad went with him again. And he went the time after that, and the time after that. And it turned out Joe's dad loved fishing almost as much as Joe did. You could say he was hooked. And that's how Joe caught the big one. All right, that is Hooked. I hope everyone enjoyed that and stay safe and healthy.